Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm excited to share with you a new brand for me, and I think they're a fairly new company. This right here is the Ferra Monster Glideman. I noticed them on Amazon a long time ago, perusing it for my Amazon Knife of the Month picks. I saw their designs. I thought they were nice and attractive designs. Currently they have 3 models. The Glideman is one of those models. If this is a new company, they came out guns blazing with sweet designs using premium materials. Today we're going to see how good the quality, fit and finish, as well as the performance, to see if it matches to its price tag. This knife comes in 4 different variations. One you see here with the stonewash blade and the stonewash blue anodized titanium frame. Also comes with gray tie with a stonewash blade. You can get it with bronze stonewashed frame and black blade. And the last one, you can get it with the tiger striping and a stonewash blade. After this review, if you're interested in picking up one of these, I will have it linked down in the description. It will be an affiliate link, so if you want to help support what I do here on this channel, it helps me pay for my testing materials. I can't thank you enough. If not, no sweat. I love the size of this one. I'd call it a medium-sized EDC knife, coming in at 7.19 inches overall. It has a 3.05 inch modified, I'd call it drop point blade of Bowler M390 stainless steel. Got a nice top swedge that thins out that tip some. Great for doing those fine precision cuts. This is going to be a very versatile blade shape because you have a low tip, very gradual belly to that tip, so you can get the tip down on the things. Also, in-hand cuts are going to be nice because your belly's not too swoopy to that tip. So this blade should be good at just about everything you throw at it. The M390 is Rockweld from 60 to 62 HRC. The blade has a nice raw stonewash finish. I love the look of it, and that's going to hide wear very well. You have a very small row of effective jimping. If you choke back right here, that's good in that area. My favorite spot, of course, is the little blade scoop. So I can go here. I can kind of creep here, even though, in my opinion, this is an oversized sharpening choil. I mean, you have, look through my fingernails, you'll have pretty much the life of this blade to sharpen it. But I did do this a few times because I didn't want to get hung up in that area, but I kind of grabbed it like a pistol grip, because when I had my gloves on, I could feel the front part of that edge. A little too risky, so I just grabbed it like that. I do wish they would have extended this just a hair, maybe came into the scale right here. I don't know. Your blade has a decent height flat saber grind, and it comes down nice and thin to around 16 thousandths behind the edge. And my particular knife from factory is sharpened to 22 degrees per side. Let's see how it performs. Because this is a new company, I was super interested to see not only how well it performs, but let's see how their edge is out of box. And so far with the cardboard, it feels like it's got a nice and crisp and sharp edge. We'll see how it goes later down the road, but so far so good. I did find myself putting my finger in that forward choil area. I do wish I was a little bit bigger, especially with gloves on. I could feel the front part of that edge kind of creeping on the glove. So I kind of held it like in a pistol grip just to cover that area so I didn't get hung up. But it feels like the blade has good edge geometry. It feels like it's slicing well. And after doing the normal cutting, I had this big old, I don't know what size. This is a huge pizza box that we had to break down anyway to put in the recycle bin. So I figured, why not, being that I was already testing this knife at that exact moment. And yeah, great with cardboard. Now we're testing the ergos, and we start out with light pressure. I want to also see how that edge is, wanting to bite the fine edge. And yeah, it's sticky, it's grabbing into the wood. I can make the fine curls if I want, so I'm putting way more pressure into it right now. And I gotta say, for being a flat scaled knife, it was very comfortable. For my hands, the pocket clip did not bother me. I didn't really notice it at all. And yeah, I was able to get a lot of force into the wood in the hammer grip. So now we're on to the 1/2 inches of rope, and I wish I could see the smile on my face right now, because I tested yeah, I'm usually test, like I said, and a few of the other ones. I test 5 knives usually at a time, just so I won't fall behind. And this is the 4th knife I'm testing in this series right now. And the 3 previous had very, very subpar edges. One of them had close to a dull edge. But yeah, I was enjoying this one really well. You could see me, I'll swap back and forth from the pinch grip and then the pointer finger grip, because that scoop is just money right there. I love that scoop, especially when you're using it with your thumb, but the index finger works well, for me at least, in that spot. So yeah, excellent job there. The way that scoop comes up by the swedge, when you put your finger down on there, you're able to get a good bit of pressure, downward pressure, into whatever you're cutting. You know, if you need to make a very fine, precise cut, you should be able to control that tip well. You can either get all the way down to the tip or push in that little spot if you want. But yeah, so far so good. And lately I've been cutting about a 4 or 5 foot section of the 1/2 inch sisal rope, just because it's getting, all this stuff's getting very expensive. And I'm not testing for edge retention. I'm just basically making sure there's nothing crazy that goes on with the apex, you know, after doing the little bit of cutting. Or, you know, for most people, this is more than they cut in a year's time. At least a month. And I was so impressed. I added 2 more sections. I had one little partial piece that I had left over from another knife that couldn't make it all the way, and then I had about a 3/4 length piece that I grabbed from another knife because it was doing so well. You know, I don't mind doing this test whenever it's not requiring me a ton of force to get through it, because that is why I have that permanent blister on, like, near my index finger at the bottom. But no, see, you can see, being that I'm swapping to that pointer finger grip at this part of the test, that's just showing you how sharp it is. And that's what I'm talking about. I can easily control that tip because of the way that scoop comes up. And yeah, it did really, really well. Very happy to see. I think they said they rock well from 60 to 62. I'd say it's probably accurate. I can't say for certain, but, you know, I'll sharpen it up after I finish this test. And that'll also tell me a lot about the heat treat, at least. So yeah, excellent job. Hopefully I can test some more of their knives in the future. Now we're going to move on to the action. This knife features a flipper and a blade hole for deployment. The flipper tab is nice and comfortable. It's canted back right in front of the pivot area. I was a little worried just because it seems like it's further back than it actually is. It does have jimps there that do grab hold of the finger. You can do a light switch by pulling it back. Comes out nice and fast. And then if you want to load up, put your finger on top of that, and it'll also come out pretty nice and fast. Riding on ceramic ball bearings and a ceramic detent ball, my dog also thinks it has great action. The thumb hole is probably my favorite, especially for that reverse flick. It's dialed for that nicely. Thumb flick, I can do it. It just doesn't feel as natural as the reverse flick, and I prefer doing the reverse flick anyway. If you wanted to, you could slow roll it. Let's see, can I? Yep, you can spotty drop it also. So all the actions work nice. I like having dual deployments like that. The action has broken in so nicely. I can feel it getting smoother and smoother the more I open and close it. It's not a complete free dropper, but it's got a nice controlled drop, and I like that. It's got a fairly light blade too, but I do love that break on that detent. It's not overly strong, but it allows me to flip reliably every single time, and it's nice and comfortable to do so. Let's move on to the handle area. They have some nice anodization work on the tie frame. You have a flat scale tie with a stone wash finish. That looks nice, and usually with the stone wash finishes, the anode doesn't fade as fast, I found. You got nice chamfering and beveling going all the way around, so they knocked any hard edges off. So this thing was very comfortable in hand. I did not expect it to be as comfortable as it was. Whether I was choked back right here, that pocket clip stays out of the way of my palm. And then in this pistol grip, this little scoop area, oh, that's money right there. very locked in, and I was able to get a lot of force behind my cuts. I did not expect that because it's a medium-sized knife. You have somewhat of a decorative, it looks like a boomerang pivot there. On the opposite side, you have a Torx head, Torx T8. The pivot is flush with the scales. All your hardware is Torx T8, your body screws and your clip screws. Excellent job. And all your hardware is titanium. Excellent. You got a 3D milled titanium pocket clip. And I think because of these bevels right here, that's why I did not feel the pocket clip in the hand. So I like that functionally. You do have a ramp. It's not a huge ramp underneath there. And it is somewhat of a stiff clip, but it goes in and out of my pocket nicely because this is a smooth stone wash surface. I found it went in and out of my lightweight shorts nicely and over the seam of my jeans going in there. So it's not a deep carry. That's what you have sticking out of the pocket. And if you like to carry lanyards, your lanyard will sit above the pocket as well. So if you need to grab it to pull it out, you could. Or you could grab right there by the Torx heads and pull it out as well. Now this is tip up right hand carry only, unfortunately. I don't know if they'll ever have any lefty carry knives, or if I didn't see any on the site. You have a small partial backspacer that also doubles as the lanyard hole. A little bit of jumps up here on the top. That is titanium, anodized the same color as the scales, along with that titanium pocket clip. You have tons of pocketing on the show side. Look at that. Some nice deep pocketing to relieve the weight as much as possible. And you have some on the back side right there on the lock side. So they did everything they could and back here to bring down the weight. And this one comes in at 3.77 ounces. I find that to be perfect for this size knife. And the lockup on my knife, I'd say, is around 30 to 40% or so, maybe 40 to 50%. Access to the lock bar is outstanding because the show side comes down a little bit further. Then you have this nice deep chamfer there. It's very comfortable for me to get my thumb in there, easy to access, but not too overly easy to where I'm going to disengage it while I'm using it in a hammer grip. The lockup on my knife, rock solid. No movement up or down, left or right. I call that good. No play up or down, left or right. Nice and tight. And you have the same lockup. Now for some quick size comparisons. It's a hair shorter than the CJRB Alt Pyrite. And it's a hair longer than the Kaiser Drop Bear. Next, it's very similar in overall length to the QSP Penguin. And it's a hair longer than the Ontario Rat Model 2. Next, it's a hair shorter than the Kershaw Bel Air, and it's a little longer than Civivi Elementum. And lastly, it's a little shorter than the Hogue Deca, and it's just about identical in length to the Spyderco Power 3. Alright, now what are my nitpicks and complaints on this one? I only really have one, maybe I guess you could call it two, but I do wish this choil right here was a little bit bigger, maybe come into the scale some, just so I could get a nice comfortable grip up there. Especially if somebody has bigger hands and bigger fingers than me, they're definitely not going to use that. And then you just have a very oversized sharpening choil. So, I like the fact that I won't have to worry about it flaring as long as I don't put too much pressure there. But it'd be nice to be able to use this as a forward finger choil, especially being that you have this scoop right here. And the second, doesn't really affect me, but there's no lefty love. So what are my final thoughts? So this knife comes in at $228 for this particular version. When I first found them on Amazon, saw this knife was $228. I couldn't get myself to pull the trigger, not knowing what the quality was and how it's going to perform. And, you just don't see a whole lot of new offerings like this at that price point right out of the gate. I'm really glad I had the opportunity to do the testing on this one, carry it, and see if the price matched the performance, quality, fit and finish, materials. And what do I think? Yeah, I think it's worth it. If you're looking for a nice and versatile knife that should be able to handle pretty much any kind of cut and chore within reason for an EDC knife, it's well built, it's got a nice and smooth, silky action. Yeah, this one really checks a lot of the boxes for me. I think if you're looking for something a little bit unique that's going to stand out from the rest, then I think this is a fantastic option. If you're interested in this knife, check the links in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, remember to drop a like on it so I know you're liking the content. If you're not already and you like knife and gear content, hit the subscribe button. We'd love to have you join the family. Also, if you don't want to miss any of my content, hit the bell notification and click all, I think it is. That way you don't miss any of my content. I usually post 7 days a week. I usually post one full-length video a day, every day, and 3 shorts as well. So if they're not popping up on your feed, then they're hiding the videos. So, well, that's going to do it for today. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave those down below and I'll do my best to get back with you. I hope every one of y'all is having an absolute amazing day. And remember, keep those blades sharp, smile more.